ground. Kirk had to leave to go feed the cows, so I'm like, you're gonna have to wait for a minute. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we've got a fun lineup. And if you saw in my text, we are just so close to another 13% increase this month, which is so great. So exciting. And don't forget that price increase is next month. So on all of those products that's the price is increasing. If you need those products, this is a great time to do it this week. Plus the $20 starter kit, the discounted starter kit is only good through Wednesday. So if you know anybody, I've actually had 3 or 4 people reach out to me and like, hey, I think I might want to take advantage of that. If you've had anyone in the past who's been a consultant, or maybe they would be interested in getting their products at a discount, now is the time, because I am almost certain they will not run that special again. So you've got 2 more days to take advantage of that. So those are just some quick announcements. Next week, I'm on vacation. So we need to decide by the end of tonight if you guys want to do a consultant-led meeting, which you guys have done in the past and you did awesome. Because we also in May have Memorial Day. So you're probably going to want to take that day off. So do you guys want to go next week, or do you want and go next week and do consultant led and each of you share a part, or do you want to take the week off? So put it in the chat by the end of the night so we can make that decision. Either way is totally fine. I will be at sea, so I won't even be able to get on. But I would love for you guys to still get together if that's your desire, and still, fellowship and commune. So that is that schedule. We do have new products coming out in May. We will have a new promotion coming out in May, and I'm very excited about it, actually. I feel energized about it, so I'm super excited about that. So stay tuned, because that's just a couple of days away. If you are local, our Superstar Saturday is coming up on this Saturday. And I know Spring and Natalie are registered to go. If you are planning to attend, if you're local, please let me know by tomorrow morning so I can add you to the go list. Would love for you to be there. Natalie. You can have a Cinco de Mayo party without me. So last week we had our party. I did not know, call me blonde, call me whatever, but I was so excited because I was going to be in Mexico on Cinco de Mayo, and and everybody told me that that was an American holiday, not a Mexican holiday. Well, I didn't know. I know we celebrate with Mexican food and we do Mexican fiesta. So they're like, yeah, probably you're not going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo in Mexico. So anyway, so that is hilarious because I love Cinco de Mayo because I love Mexican. So anyway, so that was funny, Natalie. Ha ha. Okay, so we're going to talk about boosters tonight. Who uses our boosters? At least one. Who uses our boosters? Okay, a couple of you guys. Who doesn't really know anything about the boosters? You can be honest. It's totally okay. All right. Who would love to have a little boost in your skincare? Either brightening or less wrinkles or more hydration or a better skin tone, right? So that's what a booster does. Now, this is the way I explain it. This is elementary, elementary explanation, okay? So I use the Miracle Set. And the reason I use the Miracle Set is because the repair line is too emollient for me. I'm still oily at 54. I mean, kind of praise the Lord because that helps me not have as many wrinkles, but it is frustrating because I also feel like I can't use all the anti-aging stuff because I'm so oily. Well, the boosters and the dermacosmetics, like the dynamic wrinkle limiter, which we did last week, I believe. Then the week before that, we talked about the retinol. And now this week, the boosters. Those are the things that can take your skincare to the next level. The Dermacosmetic line is actually pretty phenomenal for a home-based business brand, because you have to have a certain manufacturer to be able to manufacture those plants or those products, because they are like at that level where a doctor would prescribe them. Okay, so they are like the next level skincare items, right? So whether you're using Miracle Set or whether you're using Repair, the Dermacosmetic line, which we call the Clinical Solutions, is going to give your skincare a boost. Okay, it's going to give you the next level to your skincare. Okay, now they're not all for everybody, and they're all different. So I'm going to show you what these look like. So the very first week we talked about the retinol and the facial milk. Okay. Now, these are going to mainly be for anti-aging. It has a retinization process, but this is going to be your biggest fight against fine lines and, for me, cystic acne. Okay. The milk is also great for skin irritations. I'm definitely taking this on my trip because it is great for rashes. It's great for insect bites. It's great for redness, anything like that. I think it's kind of like Skin So Soft or Avon used to be, where we used to use it for all those kind of things. Okay, and then last week we did the dynamic wrinkle limiter, and I took it back to my bathroom, and this is the deep wrinkle filler. Okay, so we talked about the difference between those two. You can use both of them, but the dynamic wrinkle limiter is a product that's going to erase the wrinkles. That's what it's made for, okay? Now that brings us to the boosters, and the boosters, there are 4 different kinds of boosters, and they all have a different color. Okay, we have orange, blue, purple, and green. Okay, these are boosters. There's 4 different kinds. They are in a dropper. Okay, so they're going to, let's see, this is the brightener. Okay, so let me just show you how it works. So this is, it looks like kind of like our nourishing oil, but it's not as thick. I think that's my personal opinion. Okay, and you can add these boosters to any skincare line. Now they're all different, so let me tell you about each of them. There's also a chart, and you want to make sure, I'll see if the information is on here. There's one, I think it's the resurfacer, that you have to be careful. It doesn't like to play with everyone. So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so let's start out with the purple one. And this is the C resveratrol line reducer. Okay, it's purple in color. And they are all $38, just so you know. Meredith sold her first one, but doesn't know much about them. Okay, well, tonight you're going to learn more about them. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so this is our C resveratrol. Y'all know what C stands for? Vitamin C. Vitamin C, right. Okay, so C resveratrol is for vitamin C. And vitamin C is clinically shown to improve the appearance of lines and wrinkles caused by photo damage. The resveratrol is a highly potent antioxidant with the ability to fight visible signs of skin aging. And I can't name this word. Anybody know how to say that word? Acetol hexapeptide. I totally butchered that. If you know how to say that, pop on and tell us. I'm trying to use my phonics from my 4th grade teaching, and that didn't work very well. So, this is a skin restoring peptide that helps diminish signals that over the time lead to lines and wrinkles. So, this is definitely takes wrinkle reductions to the next level with renowned ingredients. Okay. HA ceramide hydrator, you can use this one, okay, with HA ceramide hydrator and with retinol. Okay. And this is the line reducer. You can use it with the hydrator booster and retinol. Okay. Okay. Next, we have the hydrator. The hydrator is inclusive. It likes everyone. You can add the hydrator to anything because the hydrator is the most friendly booster. Okay. You can add it also with the retinol. So, and honestly, I am not dry at all, but I love the way this feels. It is like silk. It is so good. It feels so good on your skin. And so this is the HA ceramide hydrator. It's the blue one, okay? And the hyaluronic acid is a powerhouse humectant known to bind more than 1,000 times its weight in water. Two forms of HA take a dual action approach to combating dry skin. The ceramide is essential for the retention of skin moisture, and the Verbena officinalis extract is a plant extract known to improve skin hydration and support skin barrier function. So it supports skin barrier with a unique boost of highly targeted moisturizing ingredients. So anyone that is dry is gonna love this product, okay? Or maybe, now this is another thought, okay? This is where, as the skin consultant, you have the ability to write their own recipe, right? The skincare that's going to help them the most. This hydrator would be a great addition to someone who's on the verge. They're not quite dry enough to be normal to dry formula, but the combination to oily is a little drying. You could add the hydrator. Or maybe in the summertime, they're combo to oily, but in the wintertime, they're drier and they want to add the hydrator. So
I use that one in the wintertime.
okay, awesome. Yes, I use it more in the wintertime because I do feel a little bit more drier. So great. Okay, awesome. Thanks for that input. Anybody else have any input for either of these, the line reducer or the hydrator? Okay. Next, we have the brightener. It's orange. And this addresses multiple pathways to reduce uneven skin tone, hence the word brightener, and boost skin's brightness with a trio of proven skin brightening ingredients. Ferulic acid is a high potency antioxidant that acts like a shield to defend from external factors that may lead to skin discoloration. So if anyone is dealing with sunspots, age spots, okay, uneven skin tone, this brightener is going to be the perfect addition to their skincare line. Niacinamide is a form of vitamin B3. This essential nutrient is a brightener superpower. And the navy bean extract, remember in the charcoal mask, we have the navy bean. That is a brightener, right? It's gonna brighten with a navy bean. Well, this has navy bean in it as well, and it is an ingredient known for brightening efficiency. So this brightener, or ferulic niacinamide brightener, I know I did not say that right, it addresses multiple pathways to reduce uneven skin tone and boost skin's brightness with trio of proven skin brightening ingredients. You can use the brightener with the HA ceramide hydrator and with the retinol. Okay, either of those. Remember the hydrator plays with anyone. Okay, and then the others, so far, they can be used with the retinol. Okay, now the resurfacer. This is the snotty one because it only gets along with the hydrator. All right. The resurfacer, PHA and AHA resurfacer, doesn't get along with very many people. Okay, it accelerates surface skin renewal and gently dissolves dead skin cells with a trio of proven skin smoothing ingredients. So, the PHA, which is polyhydroxy acid, is the PHA provides gentle exfoliation on the skin surface. The alpha hydroxy acid, or the AHA, provides deep exfoliation below the skin's surface. And glycerin is a humectant that helps boost moisture levels. Okay. So you guys are well aware probably that a grape is juicy, right? But what happens when the grape loses its moisture? What does it turn into?
Raisin.
That's right, Hazel. It turns into a raisin. Why did it turn into a raisin?
Is it dried
The
out?
moisture is gone and it just curls up.
That's right. That's right. Well, our skin is the same way. It's the easiest way to explain to people why they get wrinkles. It's because their skin is not hydrated. And that's hard to understand, especially to someone who's oily, but you will always see someone who's oily with less wrinkles. Okay, it's just the way it is because their skin is more hydrated. So the more they have hydration, the more or the less wrinkles. So even though the resurfacer is going to help exfoliate, it also has a hydration in it. Okay, so these are your 4 boosters. All right, Meredith says that's the one I sold. Skin Analyzer suggested it for old acne spots. Exactly, because it's an exfoliator, right? And the brightener one. Yeah. Now, the problem is you can't use the resurfacer with the brightener. So, if the resurfacer one doesn't work, okay, then you could go back to the retinol because the retinol is going to be an exfoliator, right? And you can add let's see, you've got the exfoliator. You can add the brightener with the retinol. So that would be an option. Okay. Who else has questions or suggestions or comments about our 4 boosters? Does that help you give an understanding of what they are and how to use them, how to suggest them to your customers? Spring.
Oh, I just was curious, on the ones that don't get along, like that last one that really doesn't get along, is there a time frame that you have to wait before you use other product? You know what I mean? You have to
You just
hold
can't use
out.
them at the same time. So not on the same day.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. To my knowledge, you could use them even like the other day or something, like, like the next day. Okay. This is something that I think is important for you to see. I wish I had this on my computer. See this seal right here? Can you guys see that? Okay, that seal is the Dermacosmetic seal. Okay, and it is it's a validated seal. Okay, so what that means is when you see this seal, you can be assured that an external advisory panel of dermatologists has validated the product by conducting a thorough review and evaluation of clinical test data and a scientific support for the formula and ingredients. So if you have someone that says to you, well, I'm using this product that is a dermacosmetic or whatever, then you can say, does it have this seal on it? Does it have a seal on it? And that seal is going to verify the validity of the product. Okay. So that is really important. Also, our good housekeeping seal. Okay, so what this means is that seal and the good housekeeping seal, both of those things is a third party validation. So it's not just Mary Kay saying we're awesome. It's two different third parties saying how incredible and validating the product is. That's huge, right? So not very many people understand what the good housekeeping seal is, or that dermacosmetic validated product seal mean. So now you know. Great.
Did you see Jennifer Huff's Facebook post? We made a Good Morning America, I think,
Oh,
on
I
the
had heard that. I haven't seen it yet, but I
the
heard that.
Time Wise, yeah, the miracle set.
Oh, awesome. How fun.
So yeah, she had it on her Facebook this morning. I thought
Okay,
that was
I
cool.
had a couple of people talking about that, but I haven't stopped long enough to look at it yet. But I'll share that so you guys can share it too. Great. That's awesome. Okay, any other thoughts, questions? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into our wellness tip. And honestly, this is something I've been reading the last few days, well, the last week, really. And this comes from, this can kind of serve as our devotion too, but it's called Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. And our church has been going through this study, and it's basically like, the goal in life is to become like Jesus, right? Well, I thought this was really interesting that he talks about a rule for life, a rule for life. And I'm trying to find the definition here. So, one question that he asked, okay, so instead of a lot of questions that we could ask ourselves, one thing that you could say to yourself, does this move me toward Jesus or away from Jesus? Is what I'm doing moving me toward Jesus or moving me away from Jesus? And he talks about that people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. You have to pick carefully. So it's the same with a rule. You have to pick carefully. You have to say no more often than yes, because there are only so many hours in a day and so many days in a life. But hear me, a wisely chosen rule has the potential to enrich your life in ways you can't possibly imagine. So, what he is saying is the rule for life is a balance of two sides of an emotional equation. It must guard and it must guide. So, the rule for life, or the rule of life, he says, the rule of life needs to balance two sides of an emotional equation. It must guard and it must guide. Okay? The Christian intellectual Andy Crouch beautifully defines a rule of life as a set of practices to guard your habits and guide your lives. Hi, I see you, Charlie. Yes, this is my grand dog. She's been outside for like an hour, so she missed me terribly. Okay, go away. Go lay down. Go get your dinner. Okay. So so a rule of life for you would be maybe that I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Okay, like one rule for life is that we put our phones away at 9 p.m. and we don't get them out until after our Bible study in the morning. Okay, that might be a rule for life or for your family. A rule of life might be something that guards and guides. Okay, in the same way, each of us needs to ask, what do I want to put into my life and what do I want to keep out? Okay, plus, what do I want to grow and what do I want to die? Okay, so are you feeding things to grow or are you feeding things to die? Okay, so if you were to look at my rule, one I live by with a small community of friends, you'd see a bunch of spiritual disciplines you would likely expect: an hour of quiet time each morning to pray, read scripture, and a weekly Sabbath, a meal with my community, a monthly day in solitude, and so on. But then you'd see a bunch of odd, for me, habits that don't show up on any historical rule of life because they are mostly my way of dealing with the dark underbelly of the digital age. Really, they are more like anti-habits, my attempt at counter formation. So things that you put in place to guard and guide, to help grow and to help die, depending on what you're wanting to grow and what you're wanting to die. Okay. So here's a few examples from John Mark Comer that he talks about. So he talks about parenting my phone. I have an old school analog alarm clock on my bed or by my bed. My phone goes to bed at 8:30 p.m. each night, tucked away in a drawer in my home office, and it isn't allowed up until I finish my morning time of prayer and hit my daily quota of variety. Another rule of life is practicing a full 24-hour digital Sabbath. We power off all devices, including our phones, computers, and TVs for the entirety of a weekly day of rest and worship. This goes for our teenage kids as well. Another one is limiting my social media use to one day a week. I think of it like breathing toxic fumes, sometimes necessary to live in the modern world, but no good for you and too much will kill you. Another one is limiting my intake of TV, film, or YouTube to a max of 4 hours a week. I lifted this from the rule of life from Andy Crouch in the community of Praxis. Instead of having our imagination saturated by media, we seek to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. We commit to establish structured limits for our use of screens and our consumption of entertainment in quantity, frequency, and moral character. That's the stuff. So these are more like rules, but the heart behind them isn't legalism. I'm well aware they aren't a measure of my spiritual maturity at all. If anything, my need for them is to measure my immaturity. Not one of them makes me any more loving or holy. I just recognize the power of things like technology and media to both form and deform me. Left unchecked, these things are designed to consume my life and shape me into a specific kind of person. One who is wildly unlike Jesus, but my deepest desire is for God to consume my life and in time shape me into his image. So again, do my habits, do what I'm doing move me toward Jesus or away from Jesus, right? So what are some things that you could put in place that could be a rule of life for you, that you could put into place to guard and guide your life, your family's life, and help you grow the things you want to grow and die the things you want to die, right? So those are some examples. Anybody have any thoughts on what I shared? Have you heard of that before, the rule of life? I had not heard it before. But this spiritual formation is really rhythms that we do on a daily basis to draw us closer to Jesus. And I think they're great reminders. You know, we always hear, oh, do your quiet time in the morning and, you know, you should be praying, all that kind of stuff. But are we actually putting in daily rhythms for us to meet our goals and be the person that we want to be, right? And what we're doing now is literally an example to children, grandchildren, people we mentor, you know, all those kind of things. So what are some rules of life that you have that you've already put into practice that you could share? Anyone have something that you have like that you could share with us that would be a rule of life?
I have some.
Okay, tell us, Janine.
Well, you've been there for the creation of many of them. But one thing that's a really important for me is to actually rest on Sunday afternoons. So like I don't accept plans on Sunday afternoons except for like the rare occasion. And if that happens, I have to plan my whole like week around it. And then like I have lots of little rules. But that one has been like, yeah. Things get real unhealthy real fast if there's not some Sabbath in there.
Yeah. You know, I used to never take a Sabbath. Like this was even probably 4 or 5 years ago. I would work my Mary Kay business on a Sunday and I would do parties because that was a day that I knew was open and available. And I don't know, it's been several years now. I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, I started taking a Sabbath from my business. Not necessarily from housework, let's be honest, but at least from my business being home for a day. Like that was just my day at home. And even though I wasn't napping or resting, has made a huge difference. Now I have taken on more of the rhythms of just resting and you know, taking more of a real Sabbath, but it does make such a huge difference. And I think sometimes in our busy world, when we stop and we rest, we feel guilty, right? I don't know why the world tells us we shouldn't rest. Like we don't deserve to rest, or, you know, we don't make enough money to rest or whatever, but you're going to be a better, you're going to be, that's not the right word, not better, but you're going to be more,
Productive.
thank you. That's what I was looking for. Productive.
Good word.
You will be more productive. And you'll have more peace and more energy when you do that. So
Something
it.
I've also realized like over since January when I went back to like full-time office hours, that my healthy eating is like 1,000% tied to enough sleep. If I'm rested, I make great choices. If I'm not rested and I'm like emotionally and mentally exhausted, it doesn't matter how well I've prepared. I just go eat the bad thing. So that's been good for me to realize. And I'm looking forward to getting a good sleep schedule here in home.
Yes. I didn't realize how important sleep was until I actually got sleep. Right? Oh my goodness. Like, wow, I'm actually waking up rested. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. Who else? Who has some rules of life that you have done that you could share with us that really help you in your life?
Well, I'll just share something that kind of goes along with what you're talking about. I listened recently to a podcast, and they were talking about in Genesis, if you read everything in creation, it's always, and there was evening and there was morning. So everything started in the evening and then was preparing us for that next day of what was going to be happening. And so preparation in the evening is so important, especially when I'm teaching the next day, of just laying everything out. And so I have my pattern of what I do. And so I've even kind of started doing that even when I'm not working. And it just puts me in a good rhythm and mindset for the next day, because a lot of decisions have already been made for the next morning that I don't have to make, from what I'm
Yes.
going to wear to getting out the right pair of shoes and putting away other things that I don't need. So just kind of
Yes.
like putting the house to sleep. I don't know if y'all listen to Callie Brigham, but you know, she talks a lot about putting your house to sleep at night before you go to bed. And so that's one of the things that I've really been more mindful of and incorporating, which helps the next day just start off on the right foot.
Yes, Carol, will you plug her and her podcast, because I know she shares so many great tips and tricks in there.
Yeah, definitely. I listen to Callie. I don't know if you all have listened to Callie Brigham's podcast. She started this a year ago in the fall, and I've listened to almost every single one of her episodes, and they're amazing because they talk exactly about what we're talking about right now. And it's just how we design our time, and it doesn't look the same as someone else's, but it's proper for us, and it puts us in and she does talk about rhythm, and you know, sometimes our rhythms are we're more effective in at maybe in the morning than we are in the middle of the afternoon. And so she says one of her podcasts are, you know, recognizing those rhythms, like what you were talking about, Jen, so that way we can work in our most efficient, effective way, and using our
Yes.
time wisely. But anyway, there's just so many different aspects that she talks about in our lives that, I mean, she hits every one of them, and you never walk away not learning something or being able to incorporate something into your life that makes it more, it makes it better.
I love that. And do you listen to her through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or
I just downloaded her app, and then I just go through the app,
okay.
but yeah, you can do it for most any of them.
I
But
didn't realize she had an app. Okay, that's good to
well,
know.
it's not, it's the iPod app. It's just the iPod app. It's not her specifically. Does that
Okay.
make sense? It's just that little purple icon that says for iPods. I'm sorry, not iPods, for hold on a
Yeah,
minute. Let me just,
podcast. It's the Apple
yes,
Podcast.
that's
Yeah,
it. Yes.
she has a
Thank you.
channel probably.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's called Perfect. She changed the name of it this past year.
Okay. Okay.
It used to be TikToks, you know, TALK, but she changed it to Perfect-ish, ISH. So this is what, I don't know if you can see or not, but this is her.
Yes. Okay.
That's what it looks like when you're scrolling. And so just type in her name. And but anyway, there's just now that the first thing I shared, I got that one off of Candace Cameron Bure's podcast. And I don't remember who she was talking to, but it's a husband-wife counselor. And it was last fall, I believe it was, that she interviewed them. But she's got some great ones too. She's done Priscilla Shire, and has some great information there. So those are two of my go-to podcasts that I find a lot of wealth of just,
Yeah, and you know what? That is a great rule of life, that you're inputting into your mind positive, things that you can grow from. I think, whether you're reading your Bible, a devotion, whether you're saying an affirmation, listening to a podcast, like what are you filling your mind with? Because we know if you're not filling your mind with all the good stuff, that's when the bad stuff comes up, right? So I think that's a great rule of life too, that we can all take advantage of, is listening to those things. That's good. Awesome. All right. Well, Meredith says, I'm working on finding my emotions again. So my new rule of life is to identify I feel about because for different life events. It helps me to not be numb in a situation. I think, yeah, that's good. That's good, Meredith. I think sometimes we want to be numb because when we feel something, it can be painful, or other people shut it down, tell us we shouldn't feel that way, or for whatever reason, right? And so that's a healthy way to look at it for sure. All right, well, let's close up with some products. Just a couple of minutes. Okay, this is the new lookbook. Okay. I kind of look like the model, don't you think? Just kidding. Just kidding. Maybe me 30 years ago. But as you can see, Be Confidently You, we have a new cologne. So now I understand that this cologne, and I could be wrong, but it came from another country, like Mary Kay, not Canada. I can't remember. Another country. It's another country's perfume. So this is the bottle. I love it. It says Mary Kay Bold on it. And then it says Confidently You on it. It has, here's the whole spread of it. Okay. So it has celebrating your confidence, draw others in with top notes of mandarin, bergamot, and juicy notes of pear. Be unapologetically feminine. Beauty notes take full bloom with middle notes of jasmine, cassis, bud, and rose. And make a statement, leave an enduring impression with bottom notes of warm amber, sandalwood, and vanilla. And embrace who you are in every moment of your life. So, and it is, let me see if it's a limited edition. It does not say. Nope. It's not. It's a regular line item. And I like it. I'm going to try it and see how you know, everything smells different when you put it on, right? So you got to smell it on your skin. Okay, so Confidently You, I have a demo. If you have anyone that wants to try it, you can meet me at the studio, or I can spray a cotton ball and mail it. So either way, okay? Also, you guys saw last week our lavender and coconut, right? We have this in lotion and shower gel. It is limited edition. So know that. And then it says that in the book, it says that we have bronzers, but they're not here yet. So I don't know what's happening there. The special edition sunscreen and after sun gel is still available in this new book with the beach towel for $5. And then lastly, we have a new, that's kind of strong. Wow. I didn't hardly spray. Okay. This is a tinted lip oil. So it comes in 2 colors, blush and berry. This is the wand. Okay. So it's pretty like fat. I don't know if you can tell, but
I'm so excited. I almost inhaled my celery.
Okay, so here is our lip gloss, and this is the new one. So you can see how it's much fatter. Okay, the size-wise. The tip is probably twice as big as our lip gloss. And that's what it goes on like. So very sheer and shiny. Sheer and shiny lip oils. Tinted lip oils, 2 colors, berry and blush. Now remember, y'all cannot share this information yet.
Not
Till
gonna lie.
Thursday. Till Thursday.
I almost cheated on Mary Kay because I want that product so bad.
Well, it's here. Isn't that exciting? And if you did PCP or if you were a Star Consultant, you can order on May 10th. If you did not, then you can order on May 15th. That's when everybody can order, okay? Let me see if there's anything else I need to share with you.
Oh,
Remember,
I wanted to point out the sunscreen, the full body sunscreen. It's a permanent line. It's not limited edition. Just the after sun replenishing gel.
wow, how did I not recognize that?
You mentioned limited edition sunscreen. I'm like, wait. I'm pretty sure that it's staying, just like the facial. So
Hmm.
I always thought it should be mainline because it's not like the sun goes away in the winter.
yeah,
should be mainline.
yeah. So
Okay, interesting, because right here on this page where, we have all of our products, it's showing that it's a regular line, but in the back, it's showing it's a special edition.
well, is that the after sun? It's the same
No.
bottle.
No, it's the special edition Pure Protection Bundle,
Oh,
Two.
well, that's the bundle.
I guess, but
Well, because our last catalog, it's listed in the bundle in the back, but it's also listed on the primary page, not as limited
Okay.
edition.
I did not
So.
realize that. Thank you for pointing that out. Interesting. Okay. By the way, just a PSA, public service announcement. There are no Applause magazines anymore. Sad panda. Y'all saw the men's last week, right? I think I showed you guys the men's, right? The new men's line. So for those of you that weren't on last week, the shave foam is not a shave foam anymore. It's a gel. It's a shave gel. So my son-in-law comes in this weekend and I'm going to have him try it. I'm going to have Kirk try it this week too. So we'll see what they think. They both use the shaving cream. Okay. This is funny. We have men in our catalog. So what I was saying was the Applause magazine. So when you're active and inactive, you get an Applause magazine every quarter, which has the lookbook in it. There will be no more Applause magazines with lookbooks in it anymore. So what I'm going to try to do, which I need to do tomorrow, I need to offer to purchase lookbooks for anyone local that wants them. If you're long distance, I would be glad to mail you lookbooks, but you will have to be charged shipping because that's expensive now. The other thing is I have been trying to play with some of my expenses, my unit expenses. And so I have made a few changes, not anything super major. But one thing that I'm not going to keep doing is I'm not going to mail the newsletters anymore. They will be by email because that is about a $50 expense for me. And most of the time, people that get it don't realize why they're getting it. And the other thing is I am going to no longer do A3 postcards since you guys get a text that says, hey, this is your last month for 50% off. I'm going to stop doing the A3s because that's quite a big group of people that get that postcard. And it seems like there was something else that I was going to do. Oh, and the Pink Prize Patrol, instead of it being a weekly thing where I give away weekly prizes, I'm going to do them at the end of the month and then mail once a month for those. So those are just a few tweaks that I'm making to our unit communication. And I just wanted you to know why that was happening. So anybody have any questions? Sorry, we went over a bit, but great discussion. Thanks for joining it.
How much would the books be to mail them?
That is a good question, Hazel.
Because
Probably about
when I
$5.
sent my order,
Yeah, when you
Pardon?
place an order, you can order the books. That's the easiest way for sure.
well, they didn't have them when I sent my order.
Well, they're on
Probably
second.
because they have all the new products.
Yeah, new products will come out in May. So, if you're active, you can place a small order in May and get your books. They're on section 2, but they won't be available till May 15th. Okay.
Okay. Because the old books were still all I could get.
Well, call me next month and we can get those for you if you can't get an order in. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, everybody smile. Yay! Dear Jesus, thank you for a great night. Thank you for these beautiful smiling faces that joined us tonight. And thank you for Mark Comer and just his teaching of us creating rhythms in life that bring us closer to you, things that bring us to you instead of away from you, Lord. And we call those rules of life. Thank you for setting those in place. And I pray that as these women go throughout their week, that you'll just bring to their attention places in their life that may not be bringing them closer to you, but ways that they could change those to draw them closer. Lord, we love you so much. We're thankful for this Mary Kay opportunity, the products that are just incredible that we get to be a part of, and the opportunity that is also exciting because of the amazing group of people that we get to hang out with, and the woman who created all of this to serve you and to honor women and enrich their lives. Lord, we love you so much, and I pray these things in your name. Amen. Okay, code word. And what do you guys want to do about next week? Anybody have an opinion about next week?
If we have a meeting, I will be on, but I'm unable to commit to like having a role at this point.
Okay. Are there 3 of you or 4 of you that would be willing to help with a role? Is there 3 or 4 of you? Raise your hand if you could be on and have a role next week.
I can definitely be on next week, and with my past YouTube experiences, I can make sure that we go live if you need me to.
Okay, that would be great. That'd be great.
And I can
Perfect.
probably help with a role in that too, Jen.
Okay, thanks, Kira. Okay, super. So I'll reach out to Kira and Natalie and CJ. One more person. Spring, are you on next week? Or Melissa, Meredith? Okay, I'll reach out to you guys and see how we can connect that, and then wait, you guys can connect next Monday night like normal. I will send out a text probably on Sunday to let everybody know what's going on. I would say I would schedule it to send on Monday, but then I'm afraid it won't go if I don't have reception. So I'll probably send it on Sunday. But code word. Let's do the new perfume, Confidently You. Go be confidently you this week. I love you guys. Bye. Thanks for being on.